Wrong screen. Hello, good morning. Welcome, friends and familiars. So feel not centered enough. Okay. Better? Okay. So today I am working on what's called MinLib. It's an audio format. MinLib is the standard library for the Pokemon Mini that was possibly written by Nintendo. I don't know. And it's used in all the commercial games for more than just audio, but we're only looking at the audio today. Most of the formats known. Like, this document is not written by me. This is by... I don't know how to say his name. I always call him Jin. Or Jin, I don't know. Anyways. Most of it's known. You can see here, like, you know, song end, jumping, pulse width modifier. I'll explain. Note length. It has some effects, but I don't think they're super well known. And this is the main thing that I want to look at, is what the A stuff does. And then we know the other note length modifier. What? Oh, note length multiplier and modifier. Okay, whatever. I don't know. And the actual notes and like how to play them and stuff. So we can largely interpret what the music is doing, like what the notes are and stuff like that. The main problem is just the effects, and I want to finish that up today. God, the metal is always so loud. Okay. Looking at this in terms of static analysis, this is a existing project for disassembling Sodate. No, not Baby Shark. Welcome, Jerry. Good afternoon, evening. I'm not actually making any music today. We could, like, I can show you the music thing that I made, but not right now. I'm covering the chat. There you go. Lower me a little too. So yeah. This is an existing disassembly. It's not very complete, but some of it is done. This is not just audio. This is the entire MinLib, and this is the data section, which has some of the stuff some of the stuff commented. That's the word. Dragon Quest Battle. Oh, so you want Dragon Quest music? I could. We could play the battle music all stream. Yeah, okay, so I do want to change these into dBs just so they're not... So obviously we don't care about ASCII. But I don't want to look up every table, so let me grab hex editor, open this thing up, and then we'll look up this location. Actually, open the file first. Okay. So we are looking for hex values. This is going to be a little hard to see, and I don't think I can change that. 608 OC 1018 200106 09 OC 1218 24 30. Here 3002. That goes down to an A0. This one probably. Okay, so we'll just do that, and I can stay in here. Ooh. As usual, happy to explain anything, just ask. 3002, 420, then 30 again. Oh, right, these are locations, aren't they? I will put this here, but I don't want them on every line. I'm not going to contribute this back, so it's more just for my personal edification. I'll be turning it into information on Data Crystal probably. Of which I've done some, but not the effects, obviously. Mm-hmm. 30H, 40H. So 30. The H is hexadecimal, if that's unclear. 48, 60H. Forty, 60, 80. Oh, whoops. Get into that. So 182, 50, 78. Nice. So let me actually open Data Crystal because I have this information on there. then that will help me like figure out how I want to organize this. This is the note lengths lookup. It does go up to the 20 here for a single row. These are done for the B, the note length multiplier. Okay. So note length multiplier. Oh wait, no, it's the full note length table. Is it? Oh, it is the full note length table. Okay. So the rows are B. So XB X calls AX. Hey, oh. Lawrence? Lorick? LWRNC, welcome, good morning. Only made music with DAWs, so I have no idea what I'm looking at. That's fine. This is the audio system for Pokemon Mini, the standard library for Pokemon Mini. I'm not making music, but we're interpreting it, right? Right now, this is the note length lookup table. I'm just formatting it to look a little more comprehensible. Not that it helps much because it's in hexadecimal. But essentially the values in place here are the number of ticks that a note is sustained for. And each column, so this one here, for instance, is a standard note length. This is a 30-second note. And then at the end here is a whole note. So 32nd, 16th, 8th, dotted 8th, 4th, dotted 4th, half, dotted half, and then whole. So the number of ticks won't really mean anything to like a music producer, really, but it essentially translates to, it essentially is the way that a audio library will translate a note length into an actual amount of time to play the note for. Hey Ramon, welcome, good morning. know if I should translate these to decimal or not. Might make more sense. Me too. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Lots of people I haven't seen in a while. Welcome. I think I will convert it. I think it makes more sense. So the easy way to do that would be to take out the H's. Oh, stop. I'm hitting Alt instead of X. Okay. But copy that. And we can doot. And then I can take all these, go down here, and then hit this button at the bottom. Kind of surprised you remember me? Yeah. I would not be able to tell you how long it's been, but I do remember you. All right. Ooh, it does not highlight if I do that. Interesting. Okay, cool. That works. It's the note length table. That description instructions unclear. Time to do evil things. Oh no. I don't think you can do evil things with this, at least. Oh. But you never know. Next thing you know, you might be out there reverse engineering some IoT devices firmware, figuring out the back door. Make some horrid music notes that make people's ears fall off. Yeah, probably. It's probably pretty easy to do. We're working on the Pokemon Mini audio system, and Pokemon Mini has single channel audio through a piezo speaker, so very easy to make terrible sounding music on it. Even good music is difficult to listen to. Beeps and boops, yeah. It's like those really old Motorola phones. So this is the pulse width one. Does not have the address, so let me grab that. That was there, so it's 61 F8. Ever get all your poison potatoes? I'm not sure how to answer that. We're not finished with the poison potato playthrough. There's definitely going to be more that I'm doing on that. We're just playing it Wednesday. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I did not previously know this was the vibrato table, but all right. Or poison potatoes of the elements, Final Fantasy reference. I don't know enough Final Fantasy. Elemental poison potatoes, though, huh? Oh, this one's gonna be annoying. Should be half oscillator. Okay. Making a joke based off the first Final Fantasy and the 4 crystals of elements. Oh, I know nothing of the first one. I actually have it for Wonder Swan though. I've never played it though. I wonder if the Wonder Swan version is the same as the NES one. I don't actually know. Oh, right. Let's get the addresses of all these, shall we? That's 61FC. And then after the F, 620B. And then much further down, oh, we know roughly where it is. So 622D. C. And that goes down to 62B9 after that, the 0, 2 zeros after that. 62B9, so that goes down to here. Not sure, it might be Final Fantasy Adventures, which is actually the first Secret of Mana. Is Wonder Swan before or after the NES? After. Because NES was like Game Boy era, and Wonder Swan was after that. Not too long, though. Let's... How many do we want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Roughly there. Okay. And I think we can just delete all this. We replaced it now. And you be on those, and then go through each of these. And I guess first thing we want to do is add a 0 in front, and then we can do the age, and that way they all work. And I forgot the commas. Awesome. There we go. Is it Wonderful color you have? I actually have both. I have the Final Fantasy Edition black and white one. Is that the black and white one? Yeah. And then I have a separate color one that I don't think is special edition. I think I have a color one. Pretty sure. Where's the Final Fantasy one, the color one? Hold on. Final Fantasy Wonder Swan. Oh, it is the color one. So I have the Final Fantasy color one, and then I have Popopone black and white one. Yeah, okay. So it is the color one. I forgot. The black and white one I have is, I think it's called Popopone or something like that. It's actually a fun game. I like it a lot. But it's like a panda themed. It's really cute. Panda Wonder Swan. I don't know why I thought it was called that, because that's not even anywhere close to it. Tare Panda no Gunpei is what it's called. It's really cute. If you look it up, you can see his stupid looking face, and I love it. Okay, so these are UN 16s actually, so we should be doing DW instead. Hold on, let me look up. How to do that. I think I have the core manual up somewhere. Core manual. Oh wait, no, it'd be the tools manual. Yeah, it's DW. So essentially what we would do is take yep, these are aligned, so we can do these ones here. Go all the way down to here. Control X. Erase that 0 and then do that. And go back and remove the H. And then home over W. Perfect. And same for here. Perfect. The sheep doing? Good morning. Good morning, Junk. Welcome, welcome. We are I downloaded a existing disassembly of ThatHecksingSheep for Pokemon Mini, and we're working on the MinLib standard library audio system, which is partially documented but not fully documented. So we're working on the parts that aren't documented. Right now I'm just formatting the stuff that is documented so it's actually readable. Now that those are all set, let's convert them to decimal actually. It doesn't mean a lot unless you really know your music math, but these are note frequencies as the denominator as the bottom of a division for like the half the main oscillator. So this is 2 MHz divided by note frequency. If that means anything to anyone, that's what it is. You only understand music as math? Oh. This one's easy. This is the rest note. But otherwise, like... we actually have the notes listed here, right? So the first one's C2, and then goes down to C8, and it's a rest note. At least in theory, that's what it should be. I think what I'm gonna do is actually put these one at a time. I don't know why it doesn't highlight them, but I'm not going to be too concerned about that. Well, it's long. I think that's okay though. The reason I want to do this is to put what note it is in a comment next to it. So that's let me go look up note frequencies. Note frequency. I've looked this up so much. Alright, so C2 should be 6541. And we can check that. I don't know if you guys can see this at all. You and I can see it. So essentially we have think it's 2e7. Is that 2 million? No, 2e6. Oh wait. 2e6 divided by 65.41. And that's roughly it, right? And that's more or less how it goes, is that they're not exact. I don't know the reasoning. We did do the math before to figure out what the exact frequency was. But there isn't any real reason why it's that. I think it might have been around 2.1. Is that correct? No. No? Let's see. 30720 times... Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. They don't all work out to be exactly the same number because there's going to be a rounding error, but it's not just because of rounding error. Maybe I shouldn't do all of them as one line and then I don't want to put everything in here. Nah, we'll do them all. Why does he do flats instead of sharps? Oh. I don't know if I want to put like the corrected numbers in here or not. I don't think I do. Four plus 4 equals sheep. 4 times 4 equals mountain sheep. What? I'll take it, I guess. I don't know if I want to copy paste 100 freaking HCs in here. If I do divided by Rios 720, does it give me the... Yeah, let's just do that and then we'll round it so we can grab all of these. Probably don't want the 0. Take all of those. And then Neom. Huh? Take all of those commas, put them in here. I have that as a table, and what we want to do is basically say for X and F we want to print 2e6 divided by x as 0.2 f. It's the formatting. There we go. Automate my work. Now we can zoop. Hold on. Those don't have spaces. Okay, now we can zoop. Wow. Huh? Shouldn't be anymore. I wonder. How many lines do I have copied? 72. 32 plus 72 is 104, isn't it? So why is that not doing it properly? What are we missing? Why is there... $65.10 is correct. What the heck is missing? What? Works for, you know, the like offered. Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. 4x4. Let's try that again. Looping funny, but okay, so... $17, $16, $18. 5, 12, 13, 68, 12, 12, 192, 10, 8, 6, 4. This 68406. I think it's all there. I hate off by ones. Yeah, it's all there. So how in the world? Let's do the loop again, and we will print also. This is nice. Huh. Oh, we're missing 1004 for some reason. Okay. Not missing it in F, but we're missing it for whatever reason. Okay, so 2e6 divided by 1004. God. I'm gonna overshoot it. Why do I even try to do it carefully? G. A sharp to B. So, okay, and then we can take all those. Do that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Got it. Now for the unknowns. So we know that for the pulse width table, it's selected by CX. Pulse width modifier XC. X. Okay. And then the first unknown, I think, is presumably the A's. It doesn't. Okay, we never actually associated that. This, I assume he did associate since it's here, but we'll find out. It is listed in here. Alright. From trailing white space, now we can go into here and we need to start looking at actual audio stuff. That's nice that these are labeled already so we can work backwards from there, at least somewhat, but I don't actually have an understanding of the internals so much, so like what we want to look up or what we want to do is get an idea of how it's adjusting the timer, since the timer is what controls the sound output. One of the timers is. It might use 2 timers, we don't know. I don't know yet. I have no idea. Does it say? Does not say. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so let's work backwards based on what we know. First of all, so we know like we know the waveform. Let's look at the waveform. That's a simple one. So load into RAM L, load L into RAM, H into RAM. Oh, this just falls into here? Okay, so this is part of... Oh, I see. So Oh, okay. This is like the main area then, is it? Not the actual assignment part. Does it look up every time? Okay. Does this mean muted? No, it just goes back. I just skip this portion. So this portion here, this is doing the actual lookup in the table. It has IY, which is the base address of the table, and then it adds the offset that it has, that it retrieved from RAM here, the MN waveform. It loads that into A. Then loads B into L. I don't know what B is. And then div divides HL by A. So we know H is 0. We don't know what B is, but that so it's basically dividing B by the one of these values. And then I have to remember what the output for a div is. Give me a sec. Okay, so L is the result rounded down, the floored result. And that puts that in B. And then puts a register value into L. What is 4A? That's the preset, the low preset for the music timer. Which is ultimately relates to the frequency. So the note that's playing. I wonder if L had the high part before. So B. Looks like it previously contained part of the frequency added to HL. Oh, that would be the offset, of course. actually multiply it by 2 instead of shifting it? Was there no 16-bit shift? Oh, there isn't. Okay. That's probably faster then. "12 cycles for a molt." It might be slightly faster to do a 16-bit shift manually. I don't remember offhand how to do that though. The problem would be that it has to be done in BA and not HL. And B might have something in it right now. But it's overwritten, so... Well, whatever. Anyways, BA. So B contains the upper byte of the frequency, and then L here wait, hold on. Yeah, what was that? Oh, I see. Okay. It set that value into the preset. And so it's just loading that directly from there. Okay, okay. So it does the division on the upper byte and then does it on the lower byte. So this is basically a 16-bit division. It's not really, it's not the frequency, right? It's the frequency from the table, so note divided by I guess preset? Yeah, let's say preset. Preset divided by the waveform lookup. Huh. Alright. That's what that's doing. Anyways, it's vaguely helpful, but it's not what I was ultimately going for. So this, somewhere in here, somewhere above here is like probably the main update function for like either setting the next note or it's just like it does this every loop or whatever. Falls through there. Huh. So after updating anything, it jumps to here. Okay. But it also falls through to here. This is a BGM change? Maybe this is start. Depends what this does. This also falls into here. Alright, this is the actual start. Like the full, complete start. Because above it is a JRL, so you know that it can't fall into there. This is called from here, but it's called by a JRL and not a call. Still, I think that's fine. Pending BGM versus... Okay, interesting. So this is like... probably start a new BGM. I'm just assuming the labels are correct. I trust their work, but... So it's a new BGM or something, and this is the continuing from the current one or something, presumably. And this is odd. That is odd. It's also odd that they didn't just put the label here. They didn't just jump to this ALE. Okay. I imagine it's some sort of conditional compilation. It definitely seems like it's gonna play a new one because, like, it gets the pending one and it passes that to this function, and that stores it to the current. So that seems like what it's gonna do. So I'm gonna call this play new, or maybe what would you call it? Start BGM. Play new BGM. Begin BGM. I'm gonna call the other one continue. maybe set up new BGM. I'll call it play because it does go into the actual yeah, the play code. Continue BGM. Okay, so this is pretty useful for us because it does have information about the initialization, which tells us what RAM positions are important for the music player. Presumably these are all in order. We can open the RAM. Oh, I thought this was like a... I didn't realize that was markdown file. This is the one that I want. Well, yeah, they're in order. Okay. This loop begin. Yeah, DS2. DS is defined storage, I think, and the 2 represents how many bytes you want. Okay. Oh, a drink. I haven't even opened it. Are you guys working on anything? Tell me about what you're up to. I actually did like pre-stream chores because I got up early because I couldn't sleep. Well, I mean, I slept for like a little under 5 hours, I think. And I got up and I couldn't get back to sleep, and I was like, fine, I'll just get up. And I finally did some stuff I've been putting off. That was very important stuff. I applied for health insurance. I was doing it for like, I started it like last month, and then I got stuck, and I had to ask tax people questions about tax stuff to finish filling it out, and they answered, and then I just didn't continue until today. But it's done. I did it. I finished it. I submitted it. Oh, okay. So if there's a new note, then it goes here. That's important. Huh? Current sound effects. What we want to know is where the checks are, or the controls bytes. While just dealing with note length. I'm going hard, yeah. Yeah. It's because I'm thinking harder, I think. Not helping though. Okay. Well, what we can do actually is just go here. Search for this. It should be here, right? So where is this? How do we get to here? Okay. I found what I wanted. Now, how do we get to here? Yep, that's exactly what I expected. So this is handle command. Handle. I guess we don't know this is all audio, so we say audio command. Like MinLib does more than just audio. It also does infrared and EEPROM and stuff. So it's checking the bottom 3 bits. If it's 0, that means there are none. So that's all this. Command 80. Wait. Yeah, okay. Let's command 80. This is so if this is command saying if the bottom 2 bits are 0 but not the bottom 3 bits. So that means that it would be C 0. Oh well, it'd be CX, I guess I should say. And I should say this is AX. Okay. And then we have if bit 5 is 0 but bits 6 and 1 were not. So that would be D. Then if so this has to be 1, so one of the bottom 3 bits oh, this is an and. Okay, so one of the bottom 3 bits is 1. One of the bottom 2 bits is 1. So bit 5 is 0, but bit 6 could be 1 or 0. So this is not DX, but I mean it could be DX, but it could also be A. It says 9. Is that right? Oh, yeah. Because this is checking 0, so it'd be 9 or DX. Okay. Okay. So then bottom 3 bits have a 1, bottom 2 bits have a 1, but so the bottom bit oh no, that okay. Bit 5 has to have a 1. So this is command this is command A. Or EX, I think it was. Yep. And this is bit 4 would be 100. So that's if I have to go through it every time because it's so I'm too dumb to keep this all in my memory. Okay, so bottom 3 bits have a 1. Bottom 2 bits have a 1. So bottom 2 bits are both 1. So bottom 3 bits are all set. Okay, so this is F. And then in what world do we get here? It's not every combination. So if both bottom bits are 1, oh, okay, but bit 6 is 0. Oh, okay, okay. So this is 8, 9, A, B. I guess we'll keep the format. Okay, Command BX. Maybe I'll put it there. Sure. Alright, so that takes the bottom one and puts it into the multiplier. Yeah. Not length multiplier. This is note length. What do you call it? Modifier. Suppose IOI is probably the cursor position. Okay. The first thing it does is stores all of A, not just the bottom nibbles. So this could be a 9 at the top, or it could be a D at the top, which may be relevant. It does take the bottom here to multiply for the index. Let's take a quick look and see if it's used elsewhere. So this checks that it has any content. And then it immediately overwrites it. Okay, so clearly this, whether that's 9 or D doesn't matter. Not used. Okay. Okay, so this is a 3-wide table. Good to know, good to know. Of the vibrato table, so we want to adjust this to be 3-wide. Alright. Just get rid of that for the moment. We're going to convert these. I imagine this highlighting is so bad. I imagine -1 works though. Fine, we'll stick with 255. What do I know? I forgot about that. Shit. Does it do octal? I think it only does it if you put an O at the end, but I really don't remember. Yeah, only if you put an O or a Q at the end. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this does not mean anything to me right now. Honestly, these zeros are terrible. I think what I'm going to do is just space this all out. And then none of them will be highlighted. That's still consistent. Okay, so we do the multiplication into the vibrato table, we do the index, we get the first byte, which we store to 14F3. Then we get the next byte, which we store to EB, and then the next byte, which we store to EC. What is EE? So let's keep track of those, I guess. 14F3 here. So vibrato, byte, 0, and then ECEE. Or not EE. EBEC. This is byte 1, this is byte 2, and then what is EE? Or is it with 4? Obviously initialize to 0. It's an AND. For a quick check. Forget, I think it's do not 1H. I think it's like that. Pretty sure. Does that does include this vibrato effect? If that's some sort of effect flagged, which I assume it is. Okay, that's 2. Oh wait. No wait, 4. Sorry, that does not include the vibrato effect. Includes this effect. Okay, yeah, so some sort of flags. 2 commands set data to it. 14E. I'll probably rename these once I'm positive what they do. So let's do. We have 4 for 9, so that's 0, 4. Okay, so that's oh wait. Yeah, I was right. And then 8 is something to do with volume, apparently. That's checking for the vibrato. That's checking for the A. That's checking for something else. That's not 3, 0. That does set one of those. That sets the other one. We don't know what those do yet, but we know those are used. So I'll call this our 0, 0, 0, and then put the question marks here, and that's fine. So volume 1. Okay. Nice, nice. So then we want to go... Well, okay, hold on, let me get these. Pretty easy. So for the AX, it puts that bottom byte into here, and then uses that in the unknown lookup. Regular just bytes. Stores that in there. Okay, so that's... And then this is the lookup. Cool. Okay, here we go. So this, if this is non-zero, so if it's in here, handle AX commands. So if the note length counter, which I think is decrementing, I would presume, is equal to the value looked up in here. Let's check if this is decrementing or not real quick. Starts at 0. Equal to 0, it does that. Yeah, okay, decrementing. Presumably, I don't know where A comes from here. Oh no, just okay, maybe not. Hey. Yes, okay, it's decrementing, right? What is this? No? Where's the part where it reads it and then writes it? Here's the part where it reads it and then writes it. Okay. So if it's FE, it goes here. Otherwise, it decks it and then puts it back. Okay, it is decrementing. Good, good, good. Hey, Julia, welcome, welcome. Or Yulia. Good morning. So if it matches this value, then it jumps to here. Or it calls this, rather. Huh? Okay. $71 is the volume. So if the volume is, if it's currently playing a sound effect, or if the volume is 0, it skips doing this. And then otherwise it's takes the volume value, ands that with FC, which is basically just removing the volume. So the volume portion of 71 is the bottom 2 bits. And then it just adds 1 to it, so it increases the volume. And then flops it back in. And then sets that it did that. So if there is a volume, it increases it by 1. Ha! Unexpected? There's only 3 levels of volume, but there's 4 values for it. And the 2 middle ones are 50%. So presumably It uses a volume of 1 0 and then it increases it by 1 to 1 1, which would be 50% to 100, because it does not increase from 0. But theoretically, if it was 0 1, then it would just stay at 50%. Huh. Well, we now know what that does. Actually, handle command AX, I think. Call it that. So essentially this is a lookup table for when it should increase the note, and it's the remaining time on the note playing. However, this counter is determined, the note length counter, which I assume it's this value. So when this decrements to one of these values. Alright. Let's convert these to decimal, I think. This has a name in music and in our documentation, and I don't remember the name. Quantization, I think. No, that's for like going down, I think. Oh, sustain. But yeah, that's for stepping down. But this goes up. Why? Is that normal? Is that the fortissimo or something? Crescendo. But that's for gradual. Gradually getting louder. Oh, sforzando. Fancy. Sforzando meaning suddenly very loud, which only applies to a given beat. I think it's reasonable because it only goes up once. We could call it crescendo, but not on this console. Sforzando. Sforzando timing, rather. I do want to actually check the volume a bit. Where does it set volume? So we're looking for, was it BR 71, I think? Okay, it sets it to 100% to start. Let's replace all these. Personal preference, it makes it easier for me to read. Then why did I do that? That one. Okay. I want other assignments to this. Just the one. Okay, so in this portion it gets the SFX volume from here and then sets it basically. And it's the bit after the 2 volume bits is the cartridge power bit, and if you set that to 1, it turns off power to the cartridge. So very much hoping that nothing is setting SFX vol to 4 or higher. So it's set to 3 and not changed. Interesting. What's you idiot? Okay, this. Okay, so it can be changed by this. And this. No, it's zeroing. Okay, so it can be changed by this one. Some sort of volume lookup table, presumably. Which I'm surprised is not in midlib, but hey Ollie, welcome. Good morning. we're looking at how the volume is done right now in this. Seems like it's always 100%, but I struggle to believe that. Yeah, I'm from US. Still morning over here, unless you're on the East Coast, I suppose, and then it's barely afternoon. No. Hey, Screw, welcome. Good morning. You're live in a sheep stall. That'd be funny, just streaming from a barn. This is not how you advertise, Ollie, I'm sorry. You just look like a bot. Not higher, okay. Oh, maybe it's because I was looking at SFX file instead of BGM. I don't think it matters, but maybe take a look at that in a bit. Add 0. Add 0. It's not optimized out. Alright. Okay. Wait. This is 100%. Does it turn off the cartridge? It does. Oh no. Oh no. Finally got around to watching Howl's Moving Castle. Is enjoyable. Nice. That's a good one, yeah. I was able to watch that one in theaters. The castle itself is really fun. I like the animations for it. What happened here? Oh. What's 70? What? Huh. Weird. Awesome, the memorable ones are theaters, especially on a B-day. Yeah, definitely. I really like watching things in theaters when possible. I've watched, of the Ghibli movies, I've watched Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castles in theaters, I think. And I know I watched Kiki too, but not all of it. And there's something else that I watched in a smaller theater, but I forget what it was. It might have been Totoro. Like arriving early to catch the trailers? No, not usually. It was funny for when I went to Spirited Away though. I was going with a couple friends and it was like an hour or something after, it was starting an hour or something after school ended. So we went early and just sat in the theater for an hour because it was open and like in the actual, you know, the big screen area, because it was open and that wasn't playing another movie or anything. So we just sat there with the lights on, waiting for it to start. Hey Jade, welcome. Good morning. I don't remember if they were playing trailers or anything. That was the earliest I've ever been to a movie. It was really early. Three. Oh my lord, another bot. I'm sure you would, buddy. Okay, let's do this. So weird. What was it? Oh, handle Command AX. Friend used to work for a fancy movie theater as a front desker and has access to all the movies. Met with him and ended up watching 4 movies in one day. Oh dang, nice. Nice. Ugh. It really is odd. Oh no, it sets it to 1. It doesn't increase it to 1. Oh, okay. Cause okay. But not right. Gotcha. That makes more sense. So it's not as for Zondo. It is the other one. Sustain. So Lower is longer for in terms of sustain. Okay, that makes a whole lot more sense. Thank God. That was an easy command. Bit of confusion. Thank you. Now, this guy is the vibrato. So, it matches EA, which is not set by the vibrato stuff. Maybe it's set by a different command. No effect length. No. Okay, where are you set? So you're zeroed there. You're set here as part of oh, it subtracts F3 from the note length counter when it initializes the note length counter if an effect has already been set. So you set the effect first and then you call the note. Why didn't I tell you what? The new emotes? I did. I actually pinged you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that, I think, last week. I'm not too sure. Maybe it was earlier this week. I have no sense of time. So F3, I do believe, is one of the ones that we're using. Yep, that's byte 0, so that is here. So that's subtracted from the note length. So that's the delay. Because it starts in that many ticks. Well, I never visit channels. Direct messages are usually the easiest way to reach me. Ah, fair enough. Okay. So EA we can put here is effect start tick, and then if it increases by 1, So it's not quite the start tick. Doesn't that mean 0 is not, it doesn't work? So take the note length counter, which would be a value directly from the note length lookup, right? And then it multiplies, add that to there. Yeah, directly from that. And then pulls that out and goes into the note length counter. And if there's an effect, it takes that value, subtracts, for instance, 0, and then puts it into here. Which means that when it does get to the check here, it could be, for instance, 160. And then we subtract the 0 and put 160, and then we increase that by 1. Oh, I see. It's doing a C. Okay, okay. That carries if the second one's larger. Okay, so no. Okay, that's fine. I get it. So basically it's increasing by 1 to do less than equal to, which is valid for integers. All right. So no, it is the actual start tick, not -1. And then this becomes handle -9x. Yeah, this early, not pulling any punches today. No, it's always on when I'm doing witchcraft. It's for safety. Okay, so ED is also not known yet. Increases it by a 1. Stores that, we get EF. Which is also not known. 0, F1, F2. Take all those. Adds EC. EC is known. Spite 2. So multiply F0 by EC and then push that value. Pop and add it later. Okay, this is BA is 14 F1. Just call this U16 14 F1, even though it's not a thing. We can change it if need be. Oh, that's a load. Whoops. Mult doesn't change A, so it's the same. So, okay. So this is... This is... U2 times that. That's BA equals that. Okay, and then here... Let's do that. We'll say... Push times that. Okay. Pushes BA. The heck? Okay, EB is part of that. So EB is some sort of mask. We don't know what ED is yet. But it's increased, so it's like a counter of some sort. Yeah, it's bidding with it. Okay, so we definitely want this to actually go back to being hexadecimal. Easy enough. These will be... So it's probably just like a frequency thing, how often it does something or other. So when that is a 1, it jumps. If it's a 0, then it does this. Where does it jump to? Sub HLBA. Where are IX and IY? Do they have any meaning going into this? They must. I don't see them being used. These are being used though. Hmm. Okay. Didn't like jump back to here, did it? Is that what it did? Oh, that is what it did. Oh, okay, okay. So it's... Oh, okay. If the bit mask matches, then it does a subtraction. And if it doesn't, if the bit is 0, then it does an addition. So if we're looking at this, FF essentially means that for everything except the very first tick of the note playing, it does a subtraction. And then for something like this, like 01, every other one, it's going to do a subtraction instead of an addition. And for like 4, it'll be every 4, I guess. I'm not too sure. That also slightly depends on what this is initialized to, because if it's initialized to 1, we'll say it's 0. Oh god, I missed my mute button. Oh no, I sneezed live. Hey everyone. Welcome, unless you're another bot. If you're not a bot, welcome, good morning. Not a bot, good. Was a sneeze, not a cough? Yeah, it was a sneeze. Ugh. I lost my place. Here we go. It said he's not a bot. It was funny, I got 2 bots in a row. They had the same message too. Just in case. We gotta assume the best in people. I haven't figured out ED yet. No, I haven't. Okay. Oh wait, no I did. Okay. By 1. Or let's call this effect counter actually. One thing I don't know is how often this is done. I think it's just done every tick. Not 100% sure. Yeah. Probably. Oh, yeah, okay. Timer too high underflow. Alright. Does sound effects first, and then if there's no sound effect, then it does the BGM. Okay. Okay, cool. So we can call this every tick. And timer 2 is deciding how long a tick is. I want to see how timer 2 is set up. We're looking for BR 3A 3B. (3B) is set to FF. 3A is not set, so it's presumably 0. Should be 0. I'm pretty sure the bias is 0. Or it's just initialized that way. I don't know. In any event, that's the only time it's set, so it's not changeable. So we do know then technically we can figure out how long a tick is. I don't want to, but technically we could. We also have 38, 39. Those are configuration. The important one is it's disabling the 16-bit, so it's using an 8-bit timer. It's only using the high byte. So it's 256, I guess. I mean 255, but it counts as 0 and then when it rolls over. 39 is enabling, yeah, the high. 6 is enable and reset. Yep. Okay, cool. That is PTM 3, right? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 3. Okay, and then Back to effects. Okay, so what are these? Because we never looked at these yet. So there are the value from the frequency table, so the currently playing note from the frequency table. Started reading this book, a buddy recommended David Copperfield. I've definitely heard the name. I thought it was a person. Is that a magician? I'm not much of a reader either. But it's more because I had trouble reading. I want to change this to U16. Wondering if it's worth doing, because there's only one point where it's used as the U16. For whatever reason, that's done separately when it didn't have to be. Like, they could have just done the HL here, like they did here, but the other way. And speaking of, they could have done that here as well. Very odd. Irony as you read to improve. Yeah, yeah. I just like reading better formatted stuff. It helps. Very strange. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it a U16, but I kind of want to because it does seem to be a single value. So, I don't know. I guess I will. Oh no. Let's call that current note. We'll call this DS2, and then we're gonna replace this with current notes plus 1. How did they do that here? Was spaces. I'm gonna place that in that file and then delete it from here. Alright, now we gotta figure out what this thing is. Ah. Okay, current note minus BA, which BA is what? What is B? The upper byte from the frequency table. And then A is the volume. Oh, that skips further than I thought. I see. That sets BA to 14 and then it goes back up here. Okay, okay. That's fair. So it's either this value, or 0014. That's ultimately going into compare data, which is used for says it should be the preset times the pulse width. But this is a div, clearly. This is an inverted pulse width. Huh. Well, it is a subtraction as well. So that's, so BA is, or no, HL is the current note. So minus or wait, that's the preset, isn't it? Yeah, preset minus preset divided by call it the pivot, I guess. Huh. And the math that I'm looking at has the pulse width as 0 to 1. So 0.5 would be 50%. And that's just the multiplication. So in this version, I feel like the minus makes some amount of sense, but I'm not connecting it mathematically. Means that I'm not 100% on this math stuff in general. It's like, so I apparently did the math before. The value of 2 should be 1/2. Value of 4 should be 1/4, etc. So where does it mix in the user selected volume? I think that would be somewhere around here. But okay. Well, I don't really quite know. I think actually I'm going to change current note to current preset. And then we're going to change this one to current pivot. And change this to current pivot +1. Get rid of that too. At least we sort of understand it, but I don't understand it mathematically, so I don't think it matters, because as long as I know that they're the preset and the pivot, we can do this more mathematically, because I do know the math to some extent. I can't, the thing that I can't identify is exactly what this number is. But that doesn't matter. So back to effects. Okay, what is EC? That is byte 2, okay. So why does that only use the top byte? Why does it only multiply the top byte? Change this to then hold on. These did. Yeah, they do have bottom bytes. Odd. Okay. Then ED. D is the counter. I'm going to replace that, I think. We know that one well enough. And this is byte 1. Yeah, in here. Then it IX is the preset. Pivot, or IY is the pivot. Okay, so preset. I guess we put that on the side. Preset plus equals. This should be a pop. Okay, so it's this one, yeah. And get rid of the current and say and then pivot. Picto pivot. A little busy, but I got my kind of white noise. What are you up to? Are you getting something done that you put off? Oh. This is some sort of multiplier. Okay. And then it just, yeah, puts it. Puts it back in. And then it sets the flag. Cleaning roses for Mother's Day. If you were see me, I'd look like I drive motorcycles. Cleaning roses in a leather jacket. Well, that's nice. If you're cleaning them, does that mean you handpicked them? I don't know what to get my parents for like Mother's Day and Father's Day anymore. I used to get them treats, but they don't want candy anymore or sugar anymore. It's not that my mom like dislikes flowers or anything, but my dad already gets her flowers. Okay, so that's all it does. But what does that do mathematically? And why? So mathematically the relation is that the pivot is supposed to be equal to the preset times the pulse width. So if the preset plus equals we're gonna call that X, and the pivot equals that. Why did I say picto again? Why does this happen? Hand clean every time the gloves help. You did pick them yourself? Nice, nice. Yeah, they would. Those thorns can be prickly. But, yeah, I want to see if these are basically, does doing this equal recalculating this? Though if we look at the other one, pivot reset. Minus reset divided by y, we'll say. Just need y to be constant. So because the shifts are terrible for this, but we can convert shifting right by 8 to dividing by... How many is that? Shift right by 1, that's division by 2. Shift right by 2, division by 4. So it's 2 to the... So we could do that as dividing by 256. Technically integer division, but at least it's a little more mathematically reasonable. So if we do that and we say like say pivot equals like that, maybe. No, because it'd be the new preset. No, it would be the old one. So I want to know if that is equivalent to that. Can I just stick that into Wolfram? Not a thing I can do. Let's say A plus A divided by, let's say W. I think I won't complain. I'm not totally sure. No, we'll do A. I think A is fine too. It only gets hectic when you get the I, right? Or E. Sure. That should be A. Divided by 256 times X equals No, I guess that doesn't really solve it for me, Sorry, I'm so bad at math. What's the actual equivalency that I'm looking for here? I think it's that I want to see that if this change let's just run through examples. Okay. So say we have this one. We have F sharp 2. So we want to get that's the preset, right? We want to get the initial pivot. Say preset and the pivot equals preset minus preset divided by something in the table. So we'll look at, we'll say it's the 2. So what is the pivot? Okay. Fair enough. Now if we adjust the preset, so we'll say PR2 equals preset plus preset times X. So take a value from here. We'll go with the 3. And then PV2 pivot plus pivot times 3. Oh, that's true. Pivot should be an integer. There we go. So now we have PR2 and PV2, which are those values, and we want to know if I recalculate pivot with this formula using PR2 instead, do we get PV2? Yes. Okay. Can I prove that mathematically? So essentially what I just did is we said this if we take this value and plug it into this formula, we don't need this one. If we take this value, we're just gonna call that the PR2, I guess. Is that equal to oh wait. Is this equal to that, or I guess PR2 is the initial preset. Or no, the initial preset modified. Okay. So are these equivalent? let's replace this with Z so I can... Can we simplify this? So if we throw that into Wolfram, I don't know why Wolfram Science is always a recommendation. I've never used it. Simplification is not too good. Okay. I asked Wolfram Alpha if they're both equal and it says yes. So I don't exactly know how, and I don't really want to go into it, but I will trust Wolfram Alpha. It has gotten me through a lot of math classes. Okay. So it says the math is the same, so I will, yeah, I will trust that. So essentially it's just updating both to change, I guess, the frequency. Does that change the note length too? Might. It definitely changes. Okay, so it keeps up, it's changing the frequency, but keeping the pulse width the same. That's what it's doing. So the frequency change is a multiplier of the top bytes. How does that convert into an actual frequency? I don't entirely know, but I think we can do the math for that. So essentially, the sound frequency formula is this. Which I don't think we exactly need to know, but we're using 2e6 for that. So if we're using 2e6, we say 5 by the preset value plus 1. So if the preset value is initially whatever I used. That. So if the preset value is initially we can say 2e6. I forgot about the +1 when I did that. I don't know how much it matters, but I guess we can add it. Is this just straight up missing the one? No, it has it. It's PowerShell. It's lossy for some reason. If I do it on the Ubuntu, it might work. I don't know. +1. Yeah, I don't know why it's missing that. It's so stupid. Literally right there. So 2e6 divided by 1004 +1, so 1005 would be 5. Okay. Then we can do that. Go to here. I think that was a 0, right? Yeah. All right. Wonder if that's more. It's not really more accurate to the real values. That's fine. So we do that, and then we have the adjusted value, which is PR2 2e6. And that was with a 3, right? So that's 90.04 to 90.99. Oh, 92.04. So it's not quite to the level of this, not even close. And that's with a multiplier of 3. Not a semitone. I don't know how far a microtone is. Let me look up a frequency chart with microtones. Oh yeah, sense, that's the word. Whoa. Okay, sense to hertz conversion chart. Here we go. That's what I want. So we're looking at this middle C. 261. Yeah, it's octave 4. Let's look at octave 4. This one? Okay. 2e6 divided by this plus 1. And then we do this plus times 3. Get us to 770. So in this 7770. This 257, so that is we're at 260.38. Say we're roughly minus 8 cents to begin with. So then 257.36 off by 0.04. So multiplier 3 is approximately minus 20 cents. Plus or minus 20 cents. and multiplier of 1. So that's on middle C. Considering this part of the equation, that could be different for each. Let's try with B4. So B4 is three. Oh, and then we just need +1. $497 is already like a really high thing. 497.88, so that's like plus 14 cents to start, and then 492 puts it at about -5. So that's, yeah, that's still about 20. Okay. Okay. Pretty sure that was what it was, right? Yeah, if it's non-zero, it jumps. Guess we'll say non-zero. Okay, so that is, I guess, I wouldn't say exclusively a vibrato table, but more or less. It's vibrato for all of these. And then these are kind of different, which is what this is sort of saying here. Has 6 vibratos and then other effects. This looks like 5 vibratos to me. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, it is 5. Okay. These ones were really weird. So going by that information, this one is going to add frequency, and a higher value is going to be a lower note frequency. Okay. So that's going to be adding 64 times the top. Lower notes. So slide pitch down, I guess, and then slide pitch up faster. Slide pitch up slow. This one, is this to do nothing? Yeah, I think this is do nothing, but I guess that would technically clear the effect. Then this one is it slides the pitch up slowly after a delay. And this one slides the pitch down slowly, slow. Okay. So we technically do understand the full math for that. But yeah, let's rename this one. This is the sustain. Does it need minlib? I guess so. And then we're going to change this one to minlib effects table. Okay. I just realized these two are the same. Does it note that? Huh. Actually going to put the numbers in. All right. Okay. I guess that is it. I did what I wanted to do. There's nothing left to do on it. So we'll call it there. Thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you got something done. I won't be streaming tomorrow. Because, yeah, Mother's Day Sunday. I'll be gone. But I'll see you guys next week. So bye-bye. Have a good one. Bye.